We're standing right before Yom Kippur, and there's a certain trepidation we all feel, or we should be feeling, at this time of year. There's a story about a man who had a very nice enterprise, and he was making a decent profit every year, and for 10 years his business was up and running. He had this one accountant, a bookkeeper, and he was doing a great job, but he was an older man. He decided he's retiring. And so the owner of the business said, "What should I do?" And he put an ad out, and he got a young whippersnapper, a bookkeeper, to come in and be the new bookkeeper. So this bookkeeper is just fresh out of school, and he starts keeping the books. And as the season and the year goes on, everything seems to be doing hunky-dory, until one day when the end of the fiscal year comes and the accountant tells the owner, "You've got a problem. You're $7 million in debt." He says, $7 million? I've never had a year with a loss. And this year there's absolutely no reason. What is the reason that this is happening? So the accountant says, "Well, it looks like I think your bookkeeper was paying double tax. Was actually paying tax to the government, but was also giving the taxes back to the suppliers." So the owner calls the bookkeeper in and says, "Young man, you just caused me $7 million of loss. What do you have to say for yourself?" He says, "Well, how did it happen?" And he showed him exactly what happened. And he says, "I can't believe it." He says, "Okay, so how are you going to pay me back?" And the guy's like, "Well," I said, "well, maybe you give me your house." "I don't really have a house." "How's about your wife and children as slaves?" "Only have 3 children, that is." And, so what are you going to do?" So he's like, "I don't know." And the bookkeeper says, "I'm just so sorry. I'm so sorry. Please give me slicha." The owner says, "You need restitution." He says, "Give me mechila." It's like, restitution. And the guy breaks down and starts crying. "Kapara! I have a wife and 3 kids, that is. Help me! It's right before Yontiv. You can't throw me out." So the owner says, seeing the guy cry, grown man cry, he says, "You know what? I'll give you another chance. But this year must be a stellar year. All right? And we'll put bygones and be bygones, and let's start anew." The guy says, "Thank you so much." And as the year goes on, things look great. For some reason or other, the accountant calls up the boss and says, "You're at a much worse pace than you were last year. All right, doing the books now, you're $10 million behind." And it's, right before the end of the fiscal year, calls up the bookkeeper. "You blew it again." "I'm so sorry. I'm not buying it this time." "Mechila." "Nah." "Wife and kids." You know what? Every year, for the past, I don't want to say how many years, I've been coming to Kadosh Baruch Hu and saying, "Hashem, please, slicha. Mechila, kapara," crying, wife and kids. And Baruch Hashem, Hashem has kept it going for so many years. Why does Hashem do this for us? So the Neveh Yecheskel says, "Chayan ninum Hashem." Hashem swears to us that He's going to allow us to do tshuva, and give us a new lease on life. This is a special time in our lives. Daser simei tshuva, where Dirshu Hashem b'matzo kerubi so karov. Hashem is closer to us than normal. There's a special opportunity we have. I heard a tremendous mashal by Rav Shimshon Pincus about his community. There was a small shul, they were in a basement, and a donor said, "You know what, Mikimi Amafar Dal, let's give you a nice little caravan or something, or a big caravan." And the guy said, "Here's the money," Pinchas ordered this huge, big 2 caravans put together, and what they have to do is they have to bring it with this huge crane, and they have to level out the ground underneath and put these pylons, I'm not sure if that's what it's called, certain things that would support foundational rocks or stones to make it level. And they take the crane and they lower it down, and they have 4 or 5 guys kind of like adjusting the way the building is till it would fit perfectly on those stones. And they came and they did it, and the donor came, but he wasn't there yet, so they said, let's not unwrap all the plastic around the whole building until the donor comes. So they wait till the donor comes, and they hand him the box cutter, and they say, here, the opening ceremony, and he opens the plastic, and they walk inside, and everybody was big smiles, and the donor says, it's backwards. It's backwards. And like, nobody checked. And the Mizrach was in Ma'ariv. And so, what do? So Pinchas's kid says, Tati, it's not a problem. I saw how they did it. They had 4 guys, 1 on each corner, and they adjusted the building. Let's get 4 guys and we'll just go and move it. And Pinchas says, my dear son, it only works when the building's in the air. The 10 days of tshuva, most of us are tluim ve'omdim. We're kind of suspended. What's our gzar din going to be? While our judgment is hanging in the air, it's much easier to make these adjustments. And we have to look inside. Are we headed the right way? Are we facing the right way? If we're facing towards Hashem, then Bez Hashem, when He puts it down, and after Rosh Yom Kippur, the Seiz Mei Tshuva, we'll find ourselves mamish close to HaKadosh Baruch Hu for the entire year in our entire lives. Hashem should give us all the strength and courage to make those adjustments that we need to make, take advantage of this time, and that our tears should not be crocodile tears. They should be sincere and from the bottom of our heart, and there will be lasting changes.